Hey guys, welcome back to another week of cleaning a board. I know it looks worse than what you saw last week. I promise it's not. At the moment things are sort of being staged here because we had to empty out all these cupboards here that you saw. Everything's been wiped down, everything's been washed down all the way down, and the head as well. The battery bank is here. Not as good as our original one, but that one is from a Jaguar. So we have a Jag boat. I haven't filmed much today. All we've done is clean and wipe and stack things and wipe more things and rinse and repeat. So we're about to go home. It's the end of the day. But this is now prepped for some last minute work, which will get done just before Christmas, and that is this episode that you're watching now. Today is probably the 26th of December for you guys because it's a Thursday. That means it's my birthday. So future me is probably quite drunk right now. Good for him. He's had a hard year. Let's leave him alone while the rest of us carry on cleaning and repairing at the boat. And what a year it's been. I've been going through all the footage trying to find things like me cleaning up the whole back of the boat and starting to strip that, finding that I had faulty oil cooler and heat exchanger with water in the gearbox. Then I had to remove all of the old rotten frames from all of the portholes. This would be in the aft section inside the cabin, and this was a whole mission because they were completely useless, and this is where all the water was coming in. Doing the same up front on the port side and painting the coach roof side with a nice blue and getting everything ready, preparing for what will eventually become the new hatch opening, which needed to be widened. Then I had to make a new frame, which was dutifully done by Philip. This had to be glued in with thickened epoxy and put it neatly into place. One of the many jobs that were done, I had some lines there to help me line it all up. Then I had to route over the whole area the next day when it was actually dry, give it a smooth corner, because all of this needed to be glassed in. Obviously, we got around to that as soon as we were able to, probably the next day, I think. Here's me glassing the corner pieces in, and then eventually I had to go over the top and glass the top half in and join it up with the bottom half that was already been done. And this is how I did it. This whole hatch section probably took me, I think this was almost 2 weeks because I did it in stages whilst doing other things. This ended up being a really satisfying job considering the old one was in such poor shape. Then obviously fairing and making the thing nice. All of that got sanded away and primed along with the rest of it, and since then we've actually got the hatch on, although it's still not in its final position. But this was very satisfying, taking this off and having a new hatch on the boat, probably for the first time since she was built. We even got some time to go off around the Easter holidays and visit Cape Point, and this is the view from Cape Point, stunningly beautiful. And then straight back to work. And this would have been the last bit of the port side tow rail. You saw me finish that a couple of weeks ago. Also a very satisfying position to be in. All of this got smoothed down with my electric planer and then glassed over and rinse and repeat. We began with the anchor work again. Gluing all of the pieces together. Well, welding, that's a hell of a glue. This has been a sort of in the background task that we've been doing. The anchor is based on a Rockner 55, although I think this comes out to about 48. in terms of kilograms. I don't know how many pounds that is. I'll maybe put it up on the screen now. But it is a very long overdue project, and I think we'll have this thing done early in the new year. We then finished the plan for what will be the new stanchion mounts, and they fit snugly over the edge of the now reinforced toe rail, and they'll each get bolted all the way along. We finished the port side forward of the deck. You've since seen me do the non-skid on all of this, but this was the final layers of primer before I did the top coat. And this was about as smooth and as good as I could actually get this part of the deck without completely redoing the deck. And we were finally at a point where we thought, cool, this things are getting neat, things are getting tidy, things are getting sorted out. The doghouse was done and we were starting to work on getting cushions in. Everything was pretty cool. This was the next day. Not as much confidence in our state and where we were. So this was the infamous fire. This was end of February, and yeah, things did not go too well. For those who are watching for the first time, this fire happened due to a faulty shore power light, or light connected to shore power, because all the 12 volts, there's no 12 volt on the boat. It was just battery and a bilge pump. So this is the next morning, and this is me doing a proper walk around to see the state of things. And it was pretty hard to know where to begin at this point. That's the battery bank and what's left of it. That's where the fire started. So this was a pretty crappy start to the year. We had hoped that by the end of 2024 we would be already sailing a bit, even if it's locally, and working on rigging and running rigging and sort of more saily stuff. But we moved on pretty quickly from that. Had to start pulling the veneer off, chopping all of that apart so that we could get to the clean wood, and this has still been an ongoing job. Removing all of the rotten, broken bits, like this. That used to house CDs and a radio, but we don't have that anymore. What a mess. Then removing the windows. They all had to come off, and you know, they came off pretty easily, maybe too easily.
One more, yeah.
Thankfully we were donated some new portholes, and these still have to be put in the rest of the boat. And the big sand and paint job began. So most of this year has been refurbishing after the fire. So we've kind of regressed a year in our plans for the boat. Here I found some rot, which I was not expecting. Oh. This is the outside veneer. Right there. It will do a really good job of tying this all up. Is to knock this into place ever so slightly until it's right in the corner. Now unfortunately, and then I started sanding the nav station and getting that thing looking good again. Because I am here all the time, and this is where I work, and this is where I do my contract work. It's my office, and it's my editing station, and it's my everything. So this was one of the first places I refurbished early on after the fire. This still needs another coat, but I can get to that new year. Unfortunately, the paint guy has no more paint until January. Then I removed all the electrics, made sure everything was good, and this was probably the saddest paint over. Carolyn painted this Kraken on our bulkhead early on when we moved the board, it was a great little project and it gave the place a bit of a personal touch, but it was sad to get rid of it. Underneath the benches got sanded and got painted. This is just primer. They've since had their top coats and they're actually completed. And then I was left with probably the last part of trying to decide what I'm going to do with the floor. Once everything's got its first coat of paint, and this was just primer, the floor has a lot of marks, and no matter how many times I sanded, it really didn't come out looking good. So we bought this stuff, and this is what we'll do probably towards the end of next year. Once we redo the edges, all the trim work, I mean, it'll look good. These are all drill bits and they're all a mess, and I'll need to wash them all before I place them in my nice neat new drawers. So I've added another set of drawers and a couple of more of these little twisty things. Click on sort of little drawers. I need place for electrical components. I need place for my drills. We're getting there. We're finding lots of cool things while we're cleaning up on the boat, and I think at this point in time this is just about all the cleaning I can do before the end of the year. And I've been going through all of this footage. It really has been a hell of a ride this year. I'm glad. Hi. I'm glad that the year is over, because I get to mentally reset and I get to sort of, it's a moment in time, Christmas and New Year. It's like, okay, let's just draw a line in the sand here and start again next year, hopefully in a fresh set of ideas and some rest and perspective. And that's what this time of year gives us. And I hope that it's given you that, and I hope that the next year is wonderful for everybody watching, and I hope that you all make your dreams come true and fight hard for it. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to fight your battles for you, and no one's going to overcome adversity for you. It's all you, and it's all up here. So Happy New Year to everybody. I know I've missed Christmas because I've been at home with family, and that's important for me. Have a great New Year, and I will see you all in about 2 weeks or so before I start season 3 of what's happening in here with our big list. And Carolyn has filled out a bunch more stuff for me, so there will be plenty more to do coming in the new year. So I'll see you all. Cheers, guys. Much love.